Hey, Yellow, it's time to eat something. We're really very hungry. Do you have anything to eat? Oh, yes, Blue and Orange. Let's have something. I have got biscuits, I have got wafers, and some amount of water. We can have it together. So, children, today we are going to study the three states of matter, that is solid, that is liquid, and among these wafers I have got air. So in this chapter we will study the characteristics, the features and the properties of matter. So as you can see from this that solids, it's tough. The liquids, it can flow easily. And coming to gas, let's hear the bombardment. It's not able to blow up. Let's blow away this. So I blow it. So see, there is air coming out. And finally, the air got released. And the air is nothing but the state of matter saying gas. So let's move on to the book. Here we have the state of matter. So before we move on to the matter, we need to know the definition. That is, anything that can be perceived by the senses and has got mass and occupies space will be considered as matter, and it cannot be created nor it can be destroyed. And these all are made up of one kind of particles known as substances. And while studying them, they have got their own physical and chemical properties. So let's come to the physical properties. Like the first one we have is color. You can see the colors. Even these baby elephants are of different colors like yellow, orange, blue, etc. The glass color is black. And next is your odor. That means smell. You can have or you have felt the essence of cakes. You can smell the egg. At the same time, very nicely cooked food by your mummies in the kitchen. So in that case, you can smell the odor. And the next point is solubility. You have seen mama making lemonade in the kitchen when you are tired of from the hot sun. Or sometimes you have seen mummy mixing up various ingredients to make your favorite recipe. These all things will come under solubility. The next one is last, melting and boiling point. Every day in our house, you have seen we do get our milk boiled and we have seen ice cream getting melted. So in that case, it shows that all the substances and the states of matter have their own melting and boiling points. Now we move on to the chemical properties, where we will see how these substances react with other substances present in the atmosphere, and at the same time if we make them react in chemical laboratories. So let us see the states of matter. The first one is solid, the next one is liquid, and the third one is gases. So let me say certain examples. If you can recollect, you have seen almirahs in your bedroom, you have seen chairs, table, desk, water bottle. The bottle itself is a solid, but if it comes to liquid, you have seen the water filled inside the bottle. For example, let us see, this is a water bottle. This you can see is plastic, that is a solid, whereas the liquid inside it is your water. Moving to the gas, as I have said you, in your packets of wafers or your chips, you can see the best example is your balloon, where you fill the gas inside it and it gets inflated. So these are examples of gases. Now it's high time we study regarding the properties, which we have slightest idea in the previous classes we have read, that solids have a fixed volume or definite volume, whereas liquids, they have also a definite volume. But in case of gases, we do not have any kind of volume. We have various experiments to show this, which we will study after this. Let's come to the shape. You can see the shape of the biscuit. Yes, the shape of the biscuit is fixed. It does not change its shape. The shape of the liquid isn't there. So whenever we put it in the glass, it takes the shape of a glass. When we put it in the bottle, it takes the shape of the bottle. So that means we are having no definite shape in case of your gases and liquids also. So if it is in a birthday party, you see a oval shaped balloon or heart shaped balloon or various categories of alphabetic balloons, you will find out that since they don't have any definite shape, it takes the shape of the particular component in which it is filled in. Coming to the next point, that is compressibility. Let's see the compressibility. I try to compress this biscuit. Oops, it's broken. So that means solids cannot be compressed. Coming to liquids, let us see. Can I compress this liquid? Yes, little bit, little extent. Whereas in case of gases, they have high compressibility. We can squeeze the blanket to be fit inside the bag. You must have seen when you are going for any picnic or something, you put on your pullovers and your sweaters inside the suitcase, and if it is not getting inside it, then you press it very tough and hard so that it gets fixed in that. Coming to diffusion, that is, solids have no diffusibility. They do not get mixed up with each other. Whereas liquids, yes, they can diffuse into each other but very slightly. Whereas in gases, they are highly diffusible. That is why when you enter a particular room and somebody sprays a perfume or room or air freshener, you can smell it immediately. So this is because gases have got high diffusibility among themselves. Let's move on to the next part. That is, matter exists in 3 states which we have studied: solid, liquid and gases, and they are composed of particles, and there we will see the properties, that is intermolecular space. Now what is that? We have studied that the particles totally compose the matter. So let us consider certain particles. So these are the particles that has been mentioned here. We can see in the previous diagram, see, these particles are very close to each other, and the force with which they attract each other or they pull each other, that is known as your intermolecular force of attraction. So let us run down. Particles attract each other with a force called intermolecular force of attraction, and particles have spaces between them called intermolecular space. So generally, if you see the distance in solids, the space is very least or minimum, whereas in liquids they are little bit far away from each other, and in case of gases they are very far away from each other. Whereas the reverse happens in case of your intermolecular force of attraction. The solids, since they are very close to each other like best friends, they are very much attracted to each other. Whereas in liquids they are little bit far away from each other, so they have little bit of the force of attraction is less strong compared to the solids. Whereas in case of gases they are very far away from each other, that is why the force of attraction is very weak. Moving to the next one, there's movement of particles. In solids, they move about in their own position and do not change their place. Whereas in liquids, they move continuously here and there. And in gases, they roam about everywhere in random motion. Okay, you have to remember these valid terms that are mentioned at the bottom in order for differences. Okay, so thus we can say solid has a fixed volume, a fixed shape and are rigid in nature. Liquids have a definite volume but they do not have any shape and are less rigid compared to solids. Whereas gases, they have no definite volumes or shape and they are not at all rigid. Moving to the experiment, as we said, in order to prove. So let us see. As I can say, if this is a rectangle, I can have its space occupied as length into breadth. Okay. So if I reduce it to a square, so I can say that the square is side into side. But what about an irregular solid? How I can find out the volume of an irregular solid? At that time, we take this experiments to be conducted. We take a gas cylinder, we take this measuring cylinder, and then finally we take a particular level of water and mark it. Suppose here it is marked 100 cubic centimeter, and then we insert the solid inside the liquid, and finally we see the water rising up, and the difference between the initial and the final level gives you the volume. So which says that yes, solids occupies space. Now coming to mass, you all must have gone to grocery shops or any vegetables and while buying vegetables, you must have seen that they use generally weighing machines, or they use beam balances generally to calculate or to find out the weight of the vegetables you have bought. So in that case, let us see here, we have taken a measuring here we have taken a measuring apparatus, and there we have put the solid, and finally you can see that solids have got mass as there is increase in the graduation level. The last one shows solids have a definite volume. Yes, if you take a particular solid and insert it like the first experiment, you can see the water rises up at the same level in initial and its final level also. In each and every apparatus, it measures the same, which says that it has got fixed volume. Whether you take this kind of vessel, or you take a beaker, or whether you take a straw, or you take a measuring cylinder, it always shows the same change in or rise in level, which shows all solids have a definite volume. Let's move on to the next one, that is coming to liquids. How we will know that liquids have mass? You must have while traveling bought 1 liter of bottle of fresh mineral water or cold water. How you come to know? By the mark in the label, there it is written 1 liter, which shows that yes, liquids have got mass. When we put them in the balance, we can see that the scale is placed and finally there is change in the graduation, which shows that all liquids have got mass. If I take this bottle, I can see that it is half filled. So in that case, what happens? It shows that yes, this bottle is heavy, but if I remove all the water, then I can see the bottle is empty and it is lighter. So the mass varies with the presence of water. So liquids have got mass. Coming to volume, if you take a measuring cylinder or a straw or any kind of beaker, you can see it measures the same in every apparatus, which shows that liquids have got definite volume. And coming to definite shape, they do not have any definite shape. That is why when we pour them in measuring cylinder, it takes the shape of that cylinder only. When we put them in beaker, it takes the same shape of a beaker. When we take any kind of round bottom flask or conical flask, it takes the shape of the container, which shows that yes, liquids have no definite shape of their own. They take the shape of the container where it is put in. So if you are drinking any Maaza or any cold drink in a glass, it takes the shape of a glass. If you put it in a cup, it will take the shape of a cup, or any kind of designed apparatus or vessel you have, it will take its particular shape, showing that they do not have any particular shape of its own. And coming to the last is your gases. These gases do not have like neither volume nor fixed shape, but yes, they occupy space and have got mass. That is why you see in your at your houses also, you must have done this experiment where you take bucket full of water and you try to insert the mug straight forward down, upside down, and then you find out it is not at all getting inserted. In that case, what happens? You tilt the tumbler and finally you find out bubbles of air getting released, which shows that gases are present inside the inside the glass tumbler. Moving to the another one that is having mass. If you take this experiment, you have seen in your previous classes also, that if you take a beam balance and on one side you have taken an inflated balloon and the other side deflated, the one with the inflated side will bow down, showing that it has got mass. And coming to no definite shape or no definite volume, gases generally have no definite fixed shape or no definite volume in case of your gases. Now we move on to this change of state of matter, that yes, states of matter are interconvertible, and basically the best example is water. You have seen in your refrigerator there is ice inside it. When you take out that ice and keep it outside, you will find it out that it changes to water, and if you heat that water, you will see vapors coming out. So that means solids show ice as water. When they get melt, it turns to liquid, that is water, and this water when gets vaporized, it forms water vapor. And the vice versa happens when it undergoes condensation. The water vapor finally turns to liquid. As you have seen your mother preparing hot tiffin and giving it to you, and when you open it in the recess time, you will see on the lid droplets of water fall down. That is because of the conversion of vapor to your liquid state by condensation, and these liquids turn to solids by freezing. So here is the change of state of matter, and children, you have to remember the definitions very well. That melting is the process of conversion from solid to liquid. You have seen ice getting melted, you have seen your ice cream getting melted, you have seen conversion of your liquid into vapor. You have seen while boiling Maggi, you see the water boils at a heavy rate and it changes to steam. And then condensation, you have seen hot like curry covered with your any utensil. When you remove the lid, you will see droplets of water coming down. So when there is change of state from gas to liquid, it forms condensation. And the last one is your freezing. When liquid changes to solid, and suppose your mama is making ice cream at house during the lockdown time, that time she puts on mango pulp in the ice trays and finally garnishes with cherries and all, and after few hours keeping it in the deep fridge, you get fresh ice cream out of it. So that is because of freezing. And the next one is melting and boiling point. The constant temperature where solid melts to liquid is called as melting point, and the constant temperature where liquid starts to boil, that is known as boiling point. And children, it is very important you use the term constant. Okay, moving to the next experiment. It's a very simple one to show the presence of intermolecular space. You have taken, suppose here, pebbles, and you have started adding the sand, whereas the other one you have taken, you have added sugars to the pebbles in a plastic beaker and sand to the glass balls in the beaker. Both of the place you will see the sand occupies the space between the pebbles and at the same time between the glass balls, that is marbles. So this shows that there are intermolecular spaces present between the particles which can be occupied easily. And the next one, solids expands on heating. It is a very famous experiment in physics where we do the ring experiment. Here we have taken a rod with a hole, and with a circle inclination we allow the ball to pass through, metal ball especially, to pass through the ring. It easily passes on, but as we start heating it with the help of a Bunsen burner and start to insert it into the ring, it doesn't get, which shows that metals has or solids has got expanded because of heating. The next experiment shows that does solids only expand? Liquids also. You can see here the liquid is taken in this vessel, and when in this test tube it has been filled up and finally heated, you can find out that it has, through the tube, the capillary has risen, which shows that liquids expand on heating. You have to remember the observation and conclusion in all the experiments. Here in this experiment also gases. We have taken a gas, colored gas especially. We have taken a gas and then we have started heating it in the hard glass test tube. We have taken colored water in the test tube we have filled to show that if there is movement of or expansion of gases, then the liquid will rise up, and slowly as we start heating, the liquid starts getting it rises slowly and slowly, which shows that yes, air is present which expands on heating. And the last three definitions are very important, which are necessary for you to know. First one is Brownian movement. Movement means the motion. So when there is random zigzag movement of the particles from around especially air and water, that is known as Brownian movement. It is basically seen in gases, which is maximum since they have got a large intermolecular space, and in solids it is very least or minimum since they do not have any space among themselves. Coming to diffusion, as I said, solids do not diffuse into each other while gases diffuse rapidly. Coming to cohesive force, that is attraction between the same kind of atoms, that is known as cohesive forces. In case of your solids, the cohesive forces is very strong, whereas in case of gas, the attraction between the molecules are not there because they are far away from each other. So this winds up your chapter. We will need to discuss the short questions. The first one, see, from the three states of matter, solids expands the least. Brownian movement is maximum in gases. Cohesive forces are negligible in your case of gases. Matter can change from one state to another by change in temperature or pressure. The space between the molecules is, in case of your solid, is minimum. Intermingling of molecules is called diffusion. And next, ice on absorption of heat converts to X, a process called melting. X changes to water on heating. Water vapor changes back to X on condensation. The constant temperature at which the solid X changes is known as your melting point. Coming to the properties, chlorine has got a strong irritating odor, that is physical property. Number 2 is physical property. Number 3 is chemical property. Number 4, manganese dioxide acts as a catalyst in the rate of chemical reaction is black in color is physical. Why so? Because being catalyst is a chemical reaction, chemical property, but since it is comma is given and it is written black in color, so the property of color is being shown here. So it is a physical property. Number 5 is physical. Number 6 is chemical. Number 7 is chemical. Number 8, 9 and 10, 3 of them are physical. Coming to number 3, let us match the sequence. Number 1 is B. Number 2 is C. Number 3 F. Number 4 D. Number 5 D. Number 6 is D. Number 7 E. Number 8 is B. Number 9 F. And number 10 E. The sequence is B C F D D D E B F E. Coming to the next sequence, that is number 4. Number 1 C. Number 2 A. Number 3 C. Number 4 C. Number 5 A. Then coming to question number 5, that is 1C, 2B, 3A, 4D, 5F. E is extra, you can strike it out. The sequence is C, B, A, D, F. Okay, thank you.